Shawsy, we're closing out 2023 with 3 points, back-to-back wins against South Shields. Just how good was that today?
I think, I'm not a big celebrator. I was never a massive celebrator of my own goals. But when that ball at the back of the net, I think I let loose a little bit more than I normally do. I think obviously the emotion, the crowd, who we're playing against, and obviously then the timing of the goal and what it meant was massive. It's been a hell of a couple of days, obviously for myself. First official home game and first official game as manager. So yeah, it's a hell of a time to score. But more importantly, obviously, points on the board and the boys' performance was outstanding.
How proud were you of the lads just to respond from going 1 down inside 5 minutes and to keep that intensity up for the rest of the game?
Yeah, look, at half time I took responsibility for it, if I'm honest. We talked about the shape and we talked about what we thought Shields might do. And we know some of their players, but inevitably we talked about intensity and how we start the game on the front foot, and I think we were a little bit excited by the occasion. I think and if we look it back, it's probably going to show that we jump a little bit early and we bite on something that Shields were looking for. And Paul does what he did the other day. He gets himself into that position and tucks it away. The response was as good as I could have. You stand on the sideline at that point saying, lads, keep your heads, don't worry. And whether that message is going to sink in, you never know. They were outstanding. For 90 minutes beyond that goal, yes, Shields had odd little, I think, moment, and that's all I can probably say. I think they had moments. I think we were excellent. I thought the players defended well, battled well, everything that we did the other day. But we also dominated large periods of the game with the ball. After going 1-0 down, very easy under, like you say, under that kind of crowd to fall away a little bit, to buckle a little bit, which we'd done earlier in the season when we conceded goals. So, yeah, the response, the performance, the result, I couldn't have really asked for any more.
Just summed up perfectly there. But compared to Boxing Day, do you feel like today, like you mentioned, the performance hit the same standards, but do you feel like you were expecting a reaction from Shields? Do you feel like today was a bit of a different game to Boxing Day's 3-1 win? Yeah,
obviously the minute that they announced the news that they were changing manager, and I kind of know the lads that are taking over, I knew that it'd be a completely different challenge. The players were going to respond. There was going to be a bounce from certain players. It's like anything in any football club. Certain players enjoy that change and they get a boost, and some will always perform well. But I expected a change from them, and they did. They changed shape. The challenge was different. It was a shape that I had planned for with playing against Shields, but they started off really bright, like I expected them to, and it was up to us to ride it. We didn't quite ride that out. But what I would say is they reacted at half time on Boxing Day, and we didn't quite play the way we could have in the second half, even though we had a couple of opportunities. Today, from going 1-0 down through the whole game, 1-0 down to 1-1, to going and looking for that winner, we dominated. We kept playing our way. We were patient in possession. We went forward at the right times. We tried to create opportunities. We defended unbelievably well. So the performance was, I asked the players if they could not just deal with the reaction from Shields, but match it and go above it, and they did.
And just to conclude, over 1,700 inside Croft Park this afternoon. Just a little message for the fans heading into the new year.
Keep coming. Keep coming. They were brilliant. Look, I mentioned it when my notes for today kind of thing, my interviews for today's game around, the way that they were at Shields, the way that they were behind the goal and the non-stop singing and shouting, it spurs players on. We've got a relatively young squad, and even the experienced lads, nobody loves playing when it's a quiet little ground. Our ground, when it's like that, is unbelievable. And the fans today were brilliant. Yes, it's a big crowd, and I know the time of the year, but the more that they come, the more hopefully we'll get a thrive of the players. So thank you for them for Boxing Day. Thanks again for today. They were absolutely brilliant. We just want to see them more and more and more.